which is a poblano Cowboy skillet that we'll just pull out of the fridge and pop it straight into the oven and have dinner going for us. So the first thing we need to do is get our potatoes on because they take the longest to cook. So I've just peeled 4 russet potatoes. If I had Yukon Gold, those would be my preference, but we just used those this weekend actually. So we're going to just roughly dice up 4 russet potatoes and get those into our water so that we can get those on to boil. And the size and shape doesn't really matter. You just want them all kind of even so they cook evenly. But the larger the size, the longer they'll take to cook. Alright, I'm just going to add a good bit of salt to these. Put these on the stove, cover them, and let them cook. Now that we have those on to cook, we're just going to cut up the rest of our veggies. And all that we need for that are 2 poblano peppers, 2 jalapeno peppers, and an onion. And we're just going to dice these all up pretty small, but not like super fine. Now, poblanos are not a spicy pepper at all. They give it that nice earthy taste to me. Just a really, really good depth of flavor. So that's why we have the jalapenos to give us the spice that we want. So if you like more spice, have more jalapeno. I'm not going to take all of the seeds and stems out of this because I do want some of that heat. Jalapenos the other day had like no heat but a ton of flavor, so there was at least that. I don't really like when they don't have any heat at all. Alright, so we're just getting these all chopped up so that we can... So now we're just chopping up all of these veggies. Do you ever feel like when spring gets here, you're just like all of a sudden you want all of this color in all of your dishes that we didn't worry so much about during the winter? Like we want all of the spring and summer colors in our food. Alright y'all, so now that we have all of our veggies cut up, I have my skillet heating up with a little bit of olive oil. We're going to move over to the stove and show you how to get this put together. Okay, so our pan is smoking. We know it's nice and hot. We're just going to add in all of our veggies. So there's our 2 poblanos, our 2 jalapenos, our onion. We're going to cook this for about 4 or 5 minutes until they're all softened. The key here is you want an oven-safe pan. So what we're cooking now, we want it to be in a pan that we can put straight in the oven once we're all done. We're just going to add a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. Now that our veggies are pretty softened, we're going to add in 2 pounds of ground meat. You can use beef, pork, venison, whatever type of ground meat you like. If you use chicken or turkey, I'd probably add a little bit more seasoning just because they tend to need more seasoning. But you need about 2 pounds of ground meat. This recipe is pretty easy. 2 peppers, 2 pounds, and all pretty even measurements. So while this is cooking, I'm going to add 2 beef bouillon cubes. This just increases that flavor. If you don't have beef bouillon cubes, you can use chicken bouillon powder or chicken bouillon. We just want to increase the richness of all that flavor. I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce and about 2 tablespoons of ketchup. I am not a fan of ketchup at all, so I would prefer tomato paste. However, I'm out of my tube of tomato paste and I'm not opening up a whole can for just a little tablespoon or so. You need about 2 tablespoons of your favorite taco seasoning. A heaping tablespoon of minced garlic. And once our meat is fully cooked, we're going to take a little taste test and see if we need to add any more salt or any other seasonings. Okay, so let's give this a little taste test. Actually, we don't need anything. That's delicious. The salt level is just right. So I'm going to turn this off. Just kind of use the back of my spoon to spread this out. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, if you don't have a stovetop to oven safe pan, that's okay. Just at this point, go ahead and pour your meat mixture into like a little casserole dish, because now we're going to make our mashed potatoes that go on top of this. But we're going to let this cool off for now. So our mashed potatoes are all done. We're going to drain our water off of them and mash them. I like a rough mash. I don't like super smooth, but mash to the consistency you like and season them up. So I left a little bit of the potato water down in with our potatoes, and I'm taking about maybe 2 tablespoons of butter. And this is unsalted butter. You could use milk if you like. I'm just going to use a few tablespoons of sour cream and a good helping of black pepper. So if you were putting this straight in the oven, you'd go ahead and heat your broiler right now. Just everything's already cooked, so you would just want to be toasting up and getting that beautiful color on the top of your potatoes. But since I'm making this to put in the fridge so that we can have it this evening, I'm just letting mine cool down, and I'll cover it, and then when we get in for dinner tonight, I'll set it out for a few minutes and then heat it in the oven. So I'm just taking my potatoes and spreading them across the top, and look, all that sauce from the meat will bubble up with it also. Now, I'm not going to take it all the way to the edge because it looks so yummy when all those juices just come up around the corners and bubble up and flow the sauces over. And we'll just toast this up right before dinner tonight. And there we go, y'all. So we just pulled it out of the oven. I left the foil on it and baked it at 350 for about 30 minutes. And then I turned on the broiler and let it get these nice brown crispy bits. And now I'm just going to sprinkle over some cilantro. And you don't have to do this. You could even use some of those jalapeno peppers or those poblanos, or just leave it as it is. But we're going to serve it up like this, and dinner is done.